even prestidigitation. It has a surprising amount of uses, even though it costs nothing.
I'm about to prestidigitate all over your desk if you keep suggesting lame-o spells.
What I'm saying is you should expand your horizons. A wizard is the apex of the arcane, the ultimate utility caster, and one of these days you're gonna find yourself in an encounter where Fireball isn't gonna...
That was quick.
Where'd you go?
Yeah, I've been wanting to make...
What the fuck?
Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
Oh, right. The watching anime.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you because I come from a different time. Because I torrent all my anime.
Well...
You don't want to learn how to torrent things, I assume.
Getting riskier and riskier as days go by.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Then it's getting
It was
easier and
risky
easier to... It's easier and easier to watch anime legit than it ever was. So I don't advise it as a practice to pick up now.
The Verve is like dirt cheap. You just got to hope with commercials. Dirt cheap
So,
isn't free.
so I would advise doing it through legitimate channels, because, you know, better safe than sorry. If you really want to learn how to torrent things, I'll teach you, because it's really not that hard at all. Well, I don't think it's that hard at all, but some people are like, what's a computer? How does click?
I have never seen
But
an
all the same,
outlook like this.
yeah.
Quickly, take a fire stick and thin out their numbers before they can spread.
F4 to speed up your computer performance.
Again, I'm 31 at this point.
I was playing along with your joke.
I'm just saying that joke is older than you are.
Google VRV.
You know, that joke probably is older than Ash is.
Several azurite wounds lay
You guys can hear
exposed
me?
nearby. Use
We
the
can.
heart
We
of
can.
Azeroth to bend them.
Just being ignored.
I'm reading.
Station and mom just came on me and started getting too much shit. She's
Anyway.
catching on.
I'm learning Pathfinder 2.
How is it? I heard good things.
I mean, honestly, it's alright. I'll have to see it actually played to actually determine how I feel about it. The action economy is weird, man.
Are they doing away with standard bonus actions?
Kind of. So it's like you have action points, kinda. You can use 3 a turn unless your class says otherwise, and actions take like 1 point, 2 point, 3 point sort of things.
So that sounds a lot like Divinity.
Yeah, it is a lot like Divinity in that sense.
I don't want to give it a try. I mean, I can't start up another campaign, but I mean, just like as a player.
Yeah. Well,
Divinity?
let me put
No.
it to you this way:
Fuck.
the like the test book for it is like almost 600 pages, and that's not even the final. The final came out Thursday, and I'm still trying to get my hands on a like true copy because
I mean,
like the stores I've gone to just don't have it.
Fifth edition in its entirety is nothing to scoff at either, and it's like, I don't want to learn all that. I'm just going to learn what I'm going to play.
That's fair, and you know you could literally say the same thing about just Pathfinder up front, but like, so the DMG or the player handbook for 5e when it first came out was short of 300 pages. This is like short of 600.
Here's what the page count is up, oh, I guess excluding the Monster Manual.
I just saw Pai's snap story about his car breaking down. It's just one letter, I mean, one word, it's just fuck. Wonder what happened to it.
You did well, champion. I can feel Azeroth recovering her strength, thanks to you.
Though keep in mind, this short of 600 pages I'm looking at is like got updates and stuff. It's not the final ruling book. It's like the playtest book that has edits and stuff. So it should come down, but I don't know by how much. Because they're just like straight up changing spells and stuff too. I'm excited because like if this catches on as the next 5e, Alchemist will be a thing.
I mean, I don't think that anything's going to rival 5e just because Pathfinder never has the same amount of marketing. I mean, I hate to say it because it's the same as like, well, the Dreamcast failed despite being technologically superior to like everything else at the time. But there's something to be said for the fact that Dungeons and Dragons is called Dungeons and Dragons. Like name
So here's
recognition.
the thing, though. I think I'm gonna push Pathfinder 2 on the server and try and effectively help market it. I've already done so on Imgur and stuff like that.
I just feel
I'm pushing hard.
It's just you're reaching for two camps with the different games, because what they're trying to turn 5e into is basically a simplified, condensed, and better version than 3.5. And on Pathfinder, they're going the more complicated route of making a better, more complicated, more intense version of 3.5.
Kind of. I think what the Pathfinder 2 is going to do is basically allow for a more structured version of 5e with more homebrew or customization options. So, I mean, you're right in that it's adding complication to it. But as anyone who's been playing 5e for like ages and ages can tell you, you know that like 5e gets kind of boring after a while.
I suppose after several years and several campaigns, but I'm on campaign 2, or technically 3. I count this one. And it's pretty interesting still. It's like, I got so many things I still want to try. But either my character has to die, or I have to, start a new game.
Oh.
And also...
I'm approaching triple digits. Not that I'm counting, but that if I had to guess, I'd say it's closer to 100 than like 50.
Yeah, I'm still on my second to third year.
Right, you'll get there.
And like I said, when I get there, I probably will find Pathfinder a lot more appealing. But right now, it's just like, not yet. And also, getting more complicated is a hell of an understatement for that game. I have the rulebook in my trunk. It weighs down the left tire.
So Blaine.
I actually really like what they're doing with sorry.
Woo-woo?
I am listening.
Woo-woo?
Oh, you fucking furry.
Wait, what? Oh,
I don't know. She was making noises, so I was trying to.
What did you want to ask?
How was your week?
I mean,
furry. That's anime girl.
I mean, I cleared Eden Savage, or at least actually I cleared the first Eden Savage, which is nice for Final Fantasy 14 because
My dad field trip me the whole week.
Cool.
It's not really funny.
I mean, it's not.
Is it why are you living in my house? Go get a job.
No, my parents are divorced. I mean, they were divorced since I was like fucking 2, so I don't remember much of it. Anyway, so you wanted me to spend
16 years too late.
No, I spend time with him. It's not that kind of thing. But since I got older, I spend less and less time with him. Because, I became more of a shut-in. And, my dad just retired, so I thought it would be a great time to, spend some time with him. But he wanted me to spend a night. I didn't want to. He kept on pushing it on me and guilt tripping me, saying that I don't know, something medical disabled kind of thing because his heart exploded, and it made me really upset. And my mom said, "He's fucking drama queen." Not a paraphrasing. And just don't just stop texting, talking to him for now, kind of thing. So I'm just upset.
Don't get caught up in their politics. Do you?
I'm not It's not politics. He was legit guilt tripping me. Something I didn't want to do.
No. Like, not literal politics. Don't get caught up in between, like, the arguing or fighting between your parents.
Yeah, it's never good for you.
Don't be a
You're never
proxy for their
gonna
battles.
win. I'll put it this way. My mom is probably disassociating like a little bit because she thinks that the world is kind of, how do I put it? Like she got drunk like a couple days ago and started ranting about the fact that like both her parents died on the exact same day. And she found out that her her biological mom, because she was adopted, also died that same day. And she's like, "What are the odds of that? You can't tell me that reality is real when things like that happen." And all of us are like, "Mom, reality is real. Just because a coincidence happened doesn't mean that the world is a simulation." She's like, "Yeah, but and they also had the same name. My father and my biological father were both named like John." And all of us are,
make her watch the movie 21.
This
yeah.
almost sounds like my mom's wife.
But my point is simply that
She's a bit crazy.
my point is simply that sometimes your parents be crazy and there isn't anything you can do about it, because I'm not going to convince her.
What I mean is that even my sister says it too. And she's like, she spent time with him. He actually lived with him, and he pulled the same shit on her too. So
Under the right circumstances, you see what you want to see.
You will serve.
Want to see patterns that badly enough, you'll see them.
Speak your business. Zandala will endure.
But yeah, so that's like, I really enjoy what they're doing with proficiency in Pathfinder 2.
Bless you, Poncho.
I'd rather talk about Pathfinder 2 than
I
family
agree.
problems.
I completely 137% agree.
That brings down the mood.
I mean, he is Poncho, so this shit just rains off him.
sorry.
Well, it's like, it's interesting what they're like. It's you can be trained and become more and more proficient in things, including your armor and weapons and stuff. So like if you're not proficient with like a weapon, you can still use that weapon. You don't have disadvantage. You just have like a -4 to hit, which can be big. But like, if you're trained, then you're proficient. Hold on, let me actually look at the levels real quick. Right, my computer's freaking out. But it's like, basically, you can get more and more trained, and the more trained you are with like a type of item, the higher your proficiency bonus with it is. Not to say your proficiency bonus doesn't just go up as your level goes up, but like, if you're a master with something, then you can have like a +5 to it as just a base proficiency. Whereas if you're like a legend, no, I think it's a legend is +5 or +4 or something. I cannot find the character sheet anymore.
What you doing here?
And I lost it. Well, dang.
I was going to say
Okay.
earlier, in regards to tonight's session, since Sandman can't be here, I didn't want to just be like, and now a completely unrelated one-shot. So I threw something together a little bit last minute, and I hope that none of you have played this particular module. I've reflavored it, obviously.
2 years
so
experience.
What? What is this?
The panic in your voice. I was saying that I'm grabbing a lot of stuff from another module because I hate making things up on the fly. So hopefully you guys haven't played this particular thing. I'm gonna tell you what it is because then you'll know what it is. But fingers crossed. I think I still have a good idea for it.
I hope it's like not like Naruto filler where you can tell exactly which are the extra characters. Utterly unoriginal in their drawing.
But yeah, so if I'm a little bit hesitant, it's only because I don't want to outpace what I have prepared essentially.
Yeah, I'll take it in
Think
stride.
of this as a, I don't know, a pit stop, I think. I'm not sure if it's a good analogy.
Also, I'm gonna mute myself for 5 minutes because someone put together an honest game trailer for Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, and I want to watch it.
Oh my god.
That's fair.
I like this game. Shut up.
Shut up!
So yeah, making untrained. I found it, by the way. Untrained with armor, weapons, or proficiency.
This episode is presented by Grandma's Big Hug 4, the mobile squeezing game taking the world by storm. From the company that has your childhood nostalgia in a death grip, comes a game that combines the magical nonsense of Final Fantasy, the vast expanses of WoW, and the community of Club Penguin in an epic adventure, the scope of which you've never seen before. Except for that other time they did it. Final Fantasy XIV, Shadowbringers. Log in to the not-so-Final Fantasy XIV, a game so disliked at launch that they literally destroyed the world and started over. Then watch as a realm reborn actually rebirths a realm into one of the biggest MMOs in an age where no one plays those anymore. And shockingly, that didn't mean going free to play. Then, turn the page in a brand new story about crystals or whatever, and embody the Warrior of Light, the last hope for a war-torn land. As you ignore the 14 million other last hopes emoting in the chat, and journey through the breathtaking landscapes of Eorzea, encountering a mishmash of fantasy tropes, taking down familiar enemies, and doing a metric ton of menial labor to stop the influence of these Organization 13-looking a-holes. Then, forget everything I just said, and jump into a totally different dimension, where you'll fight off the light with your newfound powers as the Warrior of Darkness, and battle the corrupting influence of Sin Eaters and the Empire, in an extremely dense story that packs in the usual amount of anime for a Final Fantasy game. Oh, and also, whatever this is. Now that is called character development. Slide into the extremely familiar gameplay loop of 14 that serves up exactly what you're expecting from the MMO genre, where you'll accept quests to beat up 5 goblins, fetch things, and run through dungeons like their theme park rides. In a nod to its FF roots, sit through some very long cutscenes. Then, do it all over again with a completely new class. As FF allows you to be every job on the same character and start from level 1 all over again. allowing you to justify grinding your life away at a virtual millstone even more easily than before, until you run out of space for the ass pile of items they give you. I have to keep all these pants. You never know when green slacks are gonna come in handy. Fashion is unyielding. Cut into the meat of Final Fantasy XIV's battle system as you leave grinding behind and join up with actual humans to unleash different skills and attacks to create ability combos that spice up the bog-standard tank, healer, and DPS mechanics that power the combat, and will have you scything through mobs of enemies like Digiwheat until you finally reach the payoff for the 3 months you've sunk into this game, getting to play the nerd equivalent of a team sport as you join raids to take down iconic characters from Final Fantasy's past in pitched battles against giant foes that mostly test your ability to not stand in AoEs. Then, eventually, fell the creature for a bunch of loot that never goes to you. Or go full hikikomori and take people out of the equation entirely, until you realize that means you actually have to be good at the video game. I guess a 15-minute queue time isn't too bad. So fire up that duty finder and glamour up that ugly hat for an MMO that defies expectations by actually getting better every expansion. Mostly. And brings you as much of an authentic Final Fantasy experience as you can expect from the genre. And it better damn well deliver, because this is expensive as hell. Look, I can stop whenever I want. I can. I just need this. This emote that lets me industrial dance. Starring First Greatest Dad, Child of Light, Magic Kate and Ashley Olsen, You Stole My Heart, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Sweetest Potato, Don Corneo, Pai Mei, Crystal Chronicles, Handsome Jack, and OC Do Not Steal. Phantasy Star Online 14. Wait a minute. You mean there's no 24-hour boss fights in this one? This game's for casuals. This episode is presented.
That was very accurate.
I'm trying something out. I'm gonna see if it works.
Oh, this boy's on his way. He's starting up his computer. Pi will be online soon.
I hope I have what you need. Keep an eye out for supplies. One day at a time, friend.
I think I smell dinner is almost done.
Hey, Pi.
Hello.
I saw your snap. I told everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, how's the arm doing there, bud?
It is actually doing pretty okay. It hurt a bit, but now it's basically fine. It only really hurts when I touch it, but even when I like stretch and stuff, it's not bad at all. To be
Stop touching.
So,
Hey, Blank. Blank. He's
Hey!
like,
Sorry.
yeah, no,
don't
he's
yell
not
into
here.
the mic.
I'm sorry.
Also, I will take a picture of it and post it in our channel because that's how it be like it do.
And you guys know much about fixing DisplayPort issues on graphics cards?
Don't get me.
Nothing at all.
That sounds like something my sister's boyfriend knows, but I highly doubt it.
I mean, what's the problem?
For whatever reason, only one of the three seem to be working. And I can't figure out why the other two do not work. I mean, I still have a lot of troubleshooting options I'm going to explore, so I don't want to spend the time today.
Uh-oh, that was blank. Also, if you can, or if you're close to Vale or Whiskey, hit them up. They're both into IT. I know, like the Wooblies, Piece of Whiskey and the Black Veil, they're both into IT. I know at least Whiskey has like an actual job in IT at a hospital. I'm not sure what Vale does for a living, but I know that he at least knows a thing or two about a thing or two.
I suppose. Work your sound.
Uh-oh. That's not good. Also, give me a second, because instead of rushing straight here, I did actually have to change out my wrap. While it's drying, I'm gonna go grab the stuff so I can at least change it during D&D without
Hey.
any. What's up?
Oh, I'm sorry. You already told the story. I already told you the story about the deer.
Oh yeah. All right, I'll be right
I
back.
picked up Red Dead Redemption 2 today because I felt like playing it again, and I saw it, you know, was pretty and shit. If you're talking, Blake, I can't hear you. But remember this one time when I was playing the game, I was hunting and stuff, and I shot the steer. But the thing is that I didn't kill it. So when I got to the deer, it was still suffering on the ground and it died. And I felt really upset because I didn't kill it right away, even though I should have, because you know that's more like a, you know, sort of like a hunter's ethic kind of thing. To kill the animal right away, they could not suffer. Yeah. Good story, am I right, guys?
Speak your business.
10 for 10.
Yeah, deer hunting sounds fun as hell until you get to the cleaning part.
Yeah. Well.
I do what with the knife now?
I don't usually skin it first because because the carcass usually gets blood over the back of the horse.
Fix it.
Hey,
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, once was delivering a package where there was no lights or porch lights on the side of my flashlight, which had limited vision, and did not notice the hanging head they had in the garage. And I don't mean a mounted head; it was hanging to drain the blood.
What did I walk into?
I was talking about Red Dead Redemption 2 and how I accidentally killed a deer, but you know didn't kill it all the way.
My arm is wet. Hey, Blank, how are you?
Oh
I
my
heard your voice
God.
as I was walking in.
Why is your arm wet?
Oh, I had to clean it. By the way, Blank, I got a tattoo.
Oh, that explains that.
Yeah.
Of what?
Oh,
I
I
don't
got
think
a
he will regret in 16 years.
That's every tattoo, but what'd you get a tattoo of?
A D20. Very simple design. I will send a picture of it right now.
I saw it looks pretty good. Cinnamon says cool.
The resistance is always in need of resources. You can
Does it display the number 20 or the number 1?
The last time I saw it didn't have any numbers on it.
No, it has a number. It has the number of women that I've had sex.
So 0.
I love how the half that word like this went out.
Oh, that's funny. You're really funny. Hi.
Dude, I am a very hilarious guy sometimes when I put my mind to it.
That's why you're playing a bard.
That's my arm and some of my chair. And
You know,
it's
I
wet.
almost thought for a second that it was Triforce, but then I looked at it a bit more.
I mean, it is the Triforce, just with extra.
I mean, yeah, but nah.
My sister got a tattoo. Yeah, she got a couple. One of them was about me.
Your mind is your sharpest
I thought it was really nice.
Really?
Yeah, it was it's that puzzle piece that let me show you the fucking puzzle piece.
It's unusual for you to say something like, you know, positive.
Oh, hang on. Let me tell you about the puzzle piece. You don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Banjo-Kazooie?
No, hang on.
Oh, that would have been a nice one. Also, my brother, someone who literally until I finally got the tattoo was like, "You're gonna regret it. It's stupid. It's dumb." He finally saw it and he was like, it's all right. You want to get a matching tattoo?" And I was ready to tell him that he's a big dumb idiot, boo boo face. But he actually brought up a really cool idea for a matching tattoo for me. Uh,
What was the idea, Pi?
basically, when me and my brother were younger, the first game that we ever really got into, and one of the games that defined my childhood, was Halo. Every single Halo, specifically Reach, but like we played every single Halo game that ever came out, except for Wars, because why we didn't play
Careful, sir.
RTSs as children? Like, yeah, and dude, no, I'm so sorry.
Never mind.
I love it. Oh,
I was like, did Ash just say something like not downing? No, that's dumb.
that's so mean. Yeah, yeah. How do you feel about the tattoo actually?
Assistance protocol activated. Awaiting
But how do you feel about it right here, right now?
session terminated.
Okay, so a positive effect.
It's just a small little thing that says dystopia on her like fucking arm or something. Then on her back is a geometric kind of art, um, elephant and giraffe that resembles her two boys that she has.
Hmm. Do any of you guys have tattoos? I know Blank definitely doesn't, but
I don't want a tattoo.
I don't
Simon
trust
does.
needles. I don't trust people with needles.
On the one hand, like, wow, you just assumed a lot about me, and on the other hand, fuck, you're right.
yeah, no, exactly. Blank, like I think I know enough about you to be like, there's no way that you would.
It's scary, isn't it, Blank? That they know
Also,
so
yeah,
much.
I'm gonna say this right now. Tattoos don't actually hurt as much as you'd think.
Oh no,
Well,
I'm not avoiding tattoo out of fear of pain. I'm avoiding it just because, I don't want to like be a 65-year-old dude with the tattoo he got of that one anime character he really liked for a month.
well, let me say about this. My sister's friend was also my friend, of course.
So your
She
friend.
was she Yes, she was an intern for a tattoo place. She did like art and stuff for tattooists and stuff, and actually did tattooing herself. Um, she said there's only like two places that kind of have that hurt and don't hurt much. Like if there's like bones, like there's like it's more bony, like your hands, your face, maybe your legs. And yeah, like the bottom, like the lower parts of your legs, they were hurting much, but it was like more fat and stuff. Like let's say your bicep, for example, or
My bicep didn't
your
hurt.
stomach,
I've
maybe.
actually
I'm
taken a
giving out
needle to the bone.
examples.
It's not fun.
I'm giving examples. They
Oh,
were
but
hurt less. You know what I mean? And plus, also the spine also gets hurts as well.
yeah, like feet, hands.
Ooh, feet, God forbid.
Dude,
Ugh.
I've met a lot of people who have tattoos on their feet, which is like on one hand it's like why, but on the other hand it's still why. But oh, the guy who did my tattoo, I really like him because one, he does great line work. Two, he does great tattoos. Three, this one isn't really much of like something that I should be worried about, but it's just something that really makes me laugh and just tickles my giblets. He tattooed someone's butthole.
Can we
Wait,
get
can you
past
repeat
story
that?
time and get to the game?
That?
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry. I can repeat that.
No, I think we're good.
I just want to know what he said.
I'll send you
Well,
an
there
Instagram
are
post.
private conversations.
Just tell me on Snapchat.
I'll send you an Instagram post.
Instagram? I don't even have fucking Instagram.
Just fucking look at Snapchat.
Hang on. I'm not even on the right page. And I forgot to put that music in. Do you want to do music, or do you want me to throw something up? Mapoc.
I can try.
I mean, it's up to you. I've got something. It's just you tend to pick better music than I do. Well, I'll admit.
Yeah, I mean, when Salmon's here, I don't like to fight him, but yeah, since he's not. That's right.
Just don't abuse the amount of power I'm giving you.
Yeah, the Naruto thing was funny.
No, it wasn't.
Funny in the context of, well, never mind.
Look, it looks like you guys stuck at using the music. Oh.
There is none.
Not even in here, and he's still criticizing us.
Well, he's watching the stream. I leaked it to him already.
Oh, okay. So he is sitting in.
He has to click on it, so I don't know if he did. There it is.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. Speaking of Vulcan, I was trying at the last minute there to install like a robot voice modulator so I could do Vulcan's voice to at least a little bit, but couldn't find a fucking thing. All of them were bad.
I can kind of do one if you just tell me what to say.
Nah, I got it. Just it's not gonna be modulated is all. That and Vulcan's gonna be really quiet today for some reason. Who knew?
He's contemplating life and what it
Oh
means
no,
to be
his
a
voice
robot.
box broke it, and like he's charging, recharging.
He turned into a bumblebee, and now we gotta fix his fucking voice box.
Only in a day before radio exists.
Right, so he's shagging a wall outlet. Got it.
Hey, quick question. Just side note. Does anyone here watch Donkey?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Video game Ducky? Hell yeah, dude.
Oh yeah. Good shit. Also, fucking blank. You should fix that.
No, he shouldn't.
Alert.
Donkey's really
404 error. Voice box not found.
Oh. Please no.
That's surprisingly loud for some reason.
Your consent is not a factor.
That didn't even sound like.
Also ironic. How are you saying that if your voice modulator is broken?
That is how they say the joke.
That is how they say it.
Okay. Well, hang on. They always have the dumbest music jukebox thing for some reason. No, I mean I'm just gonna drag in a thing I used before.
I'll just react. Yeah, I don't know which program Sandman uses, but it's a lot better than mine. Plus, I have a loud-ass fan in the background, so...
I know what it uses.
I'm not, you gonna share?
Yeah, it's called Voice Mod. That's legit what it's just called.
No, I tried using that one, and they both sounded too different from what he did. So maybe it's that my voice is different through the voice modulator. Hard to say.
Oh, probably, but there's like a bunch of fucking voice changers.
Oh, well, look at
Didn't... Well, you had to pay for most of them.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that.
Well, actually, all of them was for $20, so like the whole
I'm
thing.
totally not doing that.
What do you think they spent like $20 on that? He used it
As a DM, that's not a bad price.
I mean, I see your point, but
It's $20 for all the voices playing. Imagine how
poor.
Imagine how expansive.
And who also doesn't have a job?
Exactly.
Listen.
No, I'm saying get a job so you could pay for this thing.
No.
It's also a very
fine. Get a job to pay for your life.
I know. I've heard this from several other people. I did put in a lot of applications this week.
Good shit.
Imagine how expansive the voices can be if you have a voice changer.
It's not going to be that expensive. Voice
it's
changers
not going
can
to
only...
be not going to be that great.
Okay, I'm not. She can't talk shit. To be honest.
They can only go so far, to be honest.
Yeah.
like if you're in a cave, maybe it's cave or robots, and we're playing D&D, so robots aren't all that common.
There's some man in female voices.
I'm already a man.
Yeah, there's also like demonic voices and shit. What the fuck, dude? I'm trying to help you out here.
No, voice packs aren't typically worth it, to be honest. That's just I'm spitting straight facts. I'm like the
Anyway.
I'm like the Alex Jones of spitting voice facts. Except Alex Jones.
He's the vibe for freaking returning gay.
I love that man, but hate him so much.
I only like him for the memes.
I love the frogs returning game meme only because every time someone mentions it, I find some Suyo from Hero Academia Yuri art. Just grabbing a book real quick because there is still I don't think I'm actually going to use it, but it's nice to have it on hand in case anything happens. Okay, so let's go ahead and recap some things for those of you who weren't here. You guys, in pursuit of the next shard, I believe the Shard of Sloth? I don't know that for sure. Had it written down somewhere. Have broken into, not broken into, you got in pretty legitimately, all things considered, gotten into the Thoracic Spire, a large tower of Othrank looking, however that's pronounced, looking spire in the middle of Karamaga. Inside, you learned that some mysterious dude had showed up the week prior, met with the Archmage, Dreyfus Webb, and however that conversation went, seems to have killed Dreyfus, and then just carved a bloody path all the way through the spire before reaching the basement, finding some sort of hidden door into the lower channel, or into the lower levels, and then continuing to murder his way even further beneath the place. You also heard from from one of the surviving members of the Thoracic Spire that they're not supposed to have a basement, because Karamaga is built over the Underdark, and as such, any entrances to the Underdark are to be heavily monitored and guarded to make sure that there's no drow incursion or mind flayer invasion into Karamaga proper. Assuring him that you weren't with the guards and didn't really care what kind of hole they had in their basement, you just wanted to get in there. And seeing that worst case scenario, they just lock the door behind you and, you're never seen again, they decide to let you into the basement. You get into, as expected, Thessalonian-type architecture. A lot of half-finished experiments and whatnot. There are some signs that the Thoracic Spire had previously known about this place, and set some of their own investigation researchers into the area, but a lot of it is largely untouched. Moreover, it's obvious that the mysterious dude, who Vulcan identified as Luca, someone none of you are familiar with except for Vulcan, but Vulcan assures you, a very bad dude. For some reason or another, the one who kind of punted Vulcan back to level 1 at the start of his arc, essentially, with the help of some of his friends, at least. You guys are now pursuing him through the lower levels, encountering more than a few traps. A zombified guard that had been left in the first area, which only had 2 hit points, basically, and only existed to explode upon death. That, unfortunately, Cyrus learned the hard way. Or was it? No, it was Jack that stabbed him.
Yep, that was me.
You're beginning to figure out that Luca is not necessarily as straightforward as big dude throws fireball. That being said, you, being a little bit more cautious now, have disarmed some of the traps, including the centrifugal room that you're all currently located in, which now bears a giant fucking hammer Gallagher-style mark that just scrapes its way across the wall due to the rotation of the room. But having freed some weird fucked up demon that promised to only kill the man who trapped him, he triggered a lot of the problems that you guys would have to face. And so you're left to press onward. You know that Luca is somewhere ahead, so there's some level of trepidation. Daz is still a little bit out of it, and will be for the rest of the campaign. I'll go ahead. Now that I'm not trying to keep things secret for the sake of or I keep getting Daz and 10 confused. 10's out of it, and for the sake of us not keeping anything secret, waiting for Daz to come back at this point, you all will have noticed that she's been spending a lot of time kind of idly rubbing the mark on her shoulder that she kind of like you catch glimpses of. And now that I'm gonna be RPing as her for a little bit, you're free to talk to her. God damn it.
I know, right, dude?
I had so many plans. But anyway.
Just think of her as the new ship.
Yeah, think of her as the new Fox.
She's Hadriel 2.0.
Hell yeah.
Only nowhere near as badass. Yet.
Yeah. So again, think like, goodness, what were we calling her? Was it Shale?
Yeah,
I think it was short for Shalalu or something.
Yeah, Shalalu, which was the dumbest name. God, I hated that name. And so it was that she also hated that name.
Fair.
But she's still around.
10?
Shell.
I mean, you guys haven't gone to Sandpoint, so
Yeah.
you wouldn't know.
In our Rune Lord campaign, my character tried romancing her before he murdered a child and kind of lost favor.
Wait, murdered your fucking character?
It was an accident. It was an accident.
Oh, in that case.
My character
This
didn't
is
know
what-
that, but I know it was an accident.
Jack's been through Sandpoint, but only through.
But I was going to bring that up because Sandman changed her name, so that wasn't her name. It was just Shale.
That's right. You didn't actually go to Sandpoint like as Victor, like at all.
Because
oh no.
One of the ways I was going to woo her is like I knew her true name, so I was going to like write it on, inscribe it on a sword, and give it to her. But Sandman said that wasn't her real name.
I was I kind of meant as Jax, but yeah, Victor works as well. But I've been to Sandpoint, but not in the beginning of the game.
No, in my headcanon, Shalalu and God damn it, Shale and Amaiko are totally a Yuri couple. I'm not gonna inject Yuri into every fucking ounce of this campaign, but for that, I'm gonna make a fucking exception.
Oh no, I strongly sensed a rival there.
That was caught on camera and recorded.
What was?
Everything.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not being secretive about that part. Anyway.
I mean, that's fair.
So yes, we were picking back up with you guys currently in the wrecked centrifugal room, still in yet another Thessalonian ruin. I'm sure you guys are getting pretty accustomed to these by now. Welcome to Rise of the Rune Lords, Thessalonian Ruins.
Wait, what's Rise
Chapter
of the Rune Lords?
800.
Yeah, this is the Chronicle of Breads disciple.
Anyway.
I thought this is Shattered Star.
Anyway. But yes, what all of you like to do? Vulcan and 10 are going to be Jaegered, which is going to be fun, because I don't know how to play fucking Vulcan. But you're free to do as you please.
I see 10, I've been seeing you 10, scratching her arm and everything, right?
Yeah, I'm willing to say at this point that that's become a bigger and bigger kind of compulsion of hers.
Hey, you doing alright? I mean, I never talk to you very much, but are you doing alright?
Like, it takes you a couple of, like, attempts to be like, hey, and then, like, she, like, kind of snaps to attention, like, before realizing that she was, like, being talked to. Still kind of with one hand over her arm, essentially, that same kind of pose that you're now accustomed to, before, like, yes, everything's fine. Just distracted is all.
By what?
Yeah, fuck it. She'll kind of roll up her sleeve. You see that the mark on her arm, essentially, that you might have noticed before, was kind of just like a dark, weird bruise that didn't seem to have much, like, focus. has since sharpened into something approximating a rune mark, but it's not clear what school of magic, of Thessalonian magic, it's inferring. The shape in the center is not even really anything. It's hard to say because it's still not clear. It's hard to say if it's supposed to be something and it's just too blurry to make out, or if it's something new entirely.
How long has this been happening?
Several weeks, ever since she kind of like lifts a hand and you watch like black shadows kind of like cling to weird contours in her forearm that shouldn't exist.
Oh. Well, that's something at the very least.
It helped me fight at least, so I'm thankful for that, but I'll admit it's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, it kind of is. Huh. I don't know what to say, but
You play what you know, Ash.
I know. I'm just. This isn't literally in character because I don't know what he would say. I probably something along the lines of, well, but if you do, I guess you shouldn't, lose control over it.
Savas is gonna kind of do the Vulcan thing and without, like, not saying a thing, walking up during this conversation, hearing it, pulls up her sleeve a little more to see, like, how far it's gone up.
She'll back off if you're getting close, because at this point you're a pretty fucking intimidating dude. Private space.
Is your I have no regard for that.
But she'll kind of roll it up a little bit higher, or roll up the sleeve a little bit higher.
Is this power using your body as a resource?
I don't think so. It simply augments the things that I cast. Essentially, It doesn't seem harmful yet. But yeah, it seems like it goes. It seems like it kind of like a pretty commonplace tattoo point, ironically enough, considering all the conversation we were just having. Go ahead and make a medicine check for me.
Could I make an Arcana check to see if there's anything emitting from the mark?
You can. Well, I mean, you're not casting detect magic. You're just taking a look at it. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check, but it's going to be a very high DC.
I mean, I could make a detect magic.
Why did you just tag me in the thing? Yes, I am aware of what Vulcan's doing.
Because I just want to make sure you looked at it.
Okay.
I mean, I could cast detect magic.
Okay, and a 4 guidance. I mean, I'm just letting you know that I'm putting my foot down a little bit on Arcana being a fix-all situation with magic. There's things you can learn with Arcana for sure, but just like looking at a smudgy rune mark and being like, I know what this does, is going to be very hard.
Alright, fine. I guess I'll just detect magic, I guess.
Just letting you know.
I know. I'm just, it could take like 10 minutes because it's ritual cast, and that's all I know.
I mean, if you guys want to wait around for 10 minutes while your ritual cast is a thing, that's fine.
I guess at the same time.
I could use a short rest.
Okay, so we'll make this into a bit of a short rest. So Cybus, with that 17 medicine check, you get the sense that it's a bit weird. There's a lot of discoloration. Not a lot. That makes it sound like it's like scarring. There's some discoloration on the same arm that has the rune mark, to an extent where you're not sure if like perhaps it's affecting the health of the arm in general. It seems like it kind of tapers off as it gets like closer to like her actual like torso. You're really not sure what's up. It's just that her arm's definitely being affected somehow. And you're worried that it's going to spread upwards to the torso, and if it's going to, it hasn't yet, but all the same, it's definitely not just this mark is there. There's definitely something different about her arm in general.
Is there a way you can ask somebody to flex a magic muscle?
I mean, she can cast like a cantrip.
Well, I meant more like, well, when you're casting a spell, I feel like you're kind of feeling a container and then throwing the container, can she like start to fill it up and not expend a spell slot?
No, it always expends a spell slot once you have it prepared. Even if you don't cast it.
Would it work with a cantrip at all? Like, could she like fill
I
it
don't
up?
I mean, he'll ask, but he just thinks it'll be too weak to show a response.
You know what? She'll because she doesn't know either. She'll go ahead and try using.
I do have Francis still active, by the way.
I forget if she has some kind of Hunter's Mark equivalent that she can use. I don't think she does. Unless something is weird here. Give me one more second, because I'm going to look up her Frostbolts. Yeah, no, nothing like that. It'd need to be an actual spell.
No, so I've asked her to go. I can try to make an ointment for that itch, but I will be keeping an eye on you for further spread. You'll need to stay healthy.
Well, I do appreciate it. I'll let you know if anything changes for the time being, at the very least.
Hey, Blank, question for you, out of character.
What's up?
Oh, this. I don't want other people to hear. Want to jump into another room real quick?
Sure.
Well, this looks like a bad time right here, right
This
now.
is where Jack becomes a new item. Takes off into another room and finds a pipe.
I feel bad feeling about this. Why do I always have a bad feeling about this?
Does he like Star Wars references?
Conversation history.
No, that's not it. I mean, I like Star Wars
Refreshing
references.
user interface.
I mean, I like memes of the prequels, but you know.
Well, the prequels turned out to be better than what we recently been getting.
What the fuck is this?
Naughty.
Is he trying to do what?
Probably something with his hat,
Maybe.
if I had to guess.
Maybe. I mean, when I'm done with my fucking ritual cast, if I know what kind of skull. Oh, hey guys.
Hello.
Okay.
Is that our peace sign or is that literal sign?
A little bit of both.
This is uh-oh.
Winded there, Sir Jack.
Tell you what. You said you're a runaway princess, right there, 10?
I don't think of myself as such, but if it helps me achieve my goals, I'll use whatever titles I have to.
It's fair. Do you plan to stick around with us for at least a bit longer?
It seems I'll have to be returning to my home country soon enough, but until such time as that's required.
I think I might be able to help you with that mark. I'm gonna reach up for my hat, turn it into a crown, and give it to her. Ah, burns.
Is that not the priceless relic with which you spend every waking moment?
It is.
Wait,
You'll-
I gotta
you'll-
know my spirit my fucking ritual cast right here. Yeah, ritual cast.
You know what? Because this is something that would fucking happen for sure. Tentori's gonna go ahead and roll insight on you.
On me?
Go for it.
No, on the dude who's just generously giving her a priceless artifact. Presumably priceless. But she has no idea. Jack's hard to read.
Yeah. Did you want me to do a persuasion roll?
Not really. I
I
was
don't
one of those
know.
things where if I was 10, What's up?
As the kind of the doctor of the situation, Samus is gonna be like, why?
Why are you giving your hat to her? I thought you really wanted this hat, and you spent so long getting her this hat.
More so the question, why are you
getting the
like,
hat
what's this hat gonna do?
It's ancient magic versus ancient magic. If it's a rune, if it's a Thessalonian rune, then it may be able to siphon some of that magic out, which may help prevent it from spreading, but I can't say for sure.
Vulcan will chip it and go, or it may drain the hat completely.
Oh God, that would be fine by me.
What is my,
He says through
I've
gritted
already
teeth.
talked with some artificers back in town who can help recharge it or fix it. The hat,
Truly.
that is.
You sure that you're
Though I
willing
can't
to take
say,
that risk? What
I
if
can't
there
say
are?
for sure if it's going to help 10.
Can I see what kind of school of magic this is first?
You still have Detect Magic up because you cast it
The
just
hat
now.
or the mark?
Both, because it's like some sort of range, I guess. Is it in a range? Yeah.
You still had Detect Magic up from last time, so I'm going to say that it still applies for this. So you would know that it is primarily at the moment illusion, but you're getting. It's complicated. It's a complicated hat. There's a lot of ingredients in this hat.
I never knew what Tentorians, what kind of,
What you're asking? What Tentori? Oh, right.
I was asking what that was first.
That's weirdly enough came back as every school equally. Whatever's up with Tentori's weird shadow magic, it doesn't come across as any given school. It's hard to say if that means it's every school or if it's not a school. Because all you know is it's definitely magic, and it's not giving off any kind of particular aura. I don't know if that helps or not.
I mean, I could ask Vulcan what it could mean, but he's not really here, so.
It's one of the problems about DMs being in charge of player characters is I have to be how smart would Vulcan be before it's just me metagaming with myself.
I could DM.
But I'll go ahead and make an Arcana check for Vulcan, just to see what he would know.
I got confused. I was like, where's this music coming?
Hmm?
I got confused where the music was coming.
Yeah, I've put it in Roll20.
Good for you.
Okay, with a 14, there is much about ancient Thassalon we do not understand. It would be hasty of us to jump to any conclusions based on the current evidence. We must collect more data.
It also wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't really want to risk Kentoria's well-being on this hat idea. But it would also be good to experiment before her powers get out of hand.
Well, the hat's not hurt me, and I've had it for a while.
I don't think you have Thessalonian powers coursing through you as she does.
Maybe not.
That's true.
We don't know that. He did sprout wings out of nowhere.
That is true.
The story for that. Something about being a halfling?
A dwarf.
My apologies.
That's different magics at hand, or at work here.
Tentoria will accept the crown that's being offered tentatively. Hee. Kind of like looking at you, and that's still kind of like incredulous. Like, are you fucking for real though? And she's not wearing anything on her head currently, so she'll kind of place it on her head.
Sebas will stand behind her, ready to cast a spell.
nothing seems to happen immediately. It does require attunement, right?
It does.
Okay, so she'll spend the short rest attuning to it, and then
All right.
immediately change it from being like an actual like crown into just like a reasonable little earring. Nothing overt or fancy. It's like a little black onyx, like teardrop shape kind of stone.
Not as flashy, but less.
Looks fitting.
Yeah, I always pictured your head
conspicuous.
looking like the Carmen Sandiego head.
Hold on. I actually have a picture.
We
Somewhere.
dig up this Carmen Sandiego head.
Champion, we will never yield to Ajara, no matter how many monsters she pits against us.
Think like this. Or maybe
Damn,
this.
you really did have a picture
Oh.
of a literal cat pirate with a hat.
I have a lot of cat pirates.
Why do you have so many cat?
Because I have like gigabytes of just D&D characters and like images like for them.
Dude, I spent so long trying to find a picture of a halfling artificer, and I couldn't get fucking anything because all of them looked like ancient like wizards, and I'm like, I don't want ancient wizard. I want like a young dude, and they're all like, nope, all artificers are in their late 60s.
What if they're young but they just look old to fool everybody?
You know, Blank, there isn't a problem if you hit me up.
What if they're young but they look old? Counter argument.
Fair enough. But anyway.
Yeah, I'd have to go through, and there's a lot to go through. So who knows?
But yeah, so short rest is over now that you've examined Tentoria's weird shoulder thing and transferred the hat.
I will also heal some.
I mean, roll hit dice, man.
Yep, one moment. Because I looked into goodness, where is this? I looked into my art folder immediately in Halfling and found something at the very least. What? Where did it go? That's because it's under NPCs. There you go.
Oh, that's way too proper, though. My dude is drunk half the time and angry at the world.
Hey,
Oh, so another tavern.
It's basically I don't want you to like have to go through like everything to my incredibly exacting standards of what my character is.
You know, Blank.
But yes, I basically made I know,
Blank.
but I don't want to.
Blank.
What's up?
It's gun.
I could give you.
Look in the back.
You know, just for you, I could give
Wait,
you.
what the fuck? It's an actually gun though. Because that's a weirdly specific chicken mount.
You know, Blank.
What?
Just for you, I could give you a discount.
But I don't want to
Trust me.
cost money.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think is cost commission?
Also, and not to be the worst person, but I actually do have people that I can commission like way more legitimately. Your art is good. Don't get me wrong,
It's
but
okay,
I know
it's
people
fine.
who draw professionally.
I know it's pretty bad. I know. That you don't have to beat around the bush.
Ash, please don't.
It's not bad. It's just that there are amazing artists that I know.
That's literally saying that my art's kind of bad.
No, it
No,
says
that's
that
saying
your art is okay.
No, it's saying your art is bad in comparison.
There you go.
Comparatively, but
Hang on a second. Where is fucking? I can't believe I'm fucking doing this. I'll do it later. The point is, I was gonna pull up a CG from the visual novel that I'm helping write for because I know that dude. He could totally draw a thing for me, and he's he has visual novels on Steam. He makes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I
Titty
still
enemy
have
really?
your visual novel like installed on my computer, man. So, like, how's that going along?
More story time.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
I'll look it up later. I forget what thing.
We
he
will leave
actually
this room
did.
eventually.
I'm sorry. You're right. We should leave this room. You know what? Vulcan will lead just because. Why not?
Vulcan will just leave.
No, we'll lead.
I know what you mean. I just think it's funny though.
I mean, he is literally the tank. Never has a saying been more literal than now.
I mean, he's got a ways to go to outshow me with what I did in the last chamber.
I forget what happened in the last chamber.
Lust chamber.
Oh.
Lust.
Blood for the blood god. Skulls for the skull king.
Skull Throne.
Whatever. I don't watch this shit. I just repeat it.
But yes, that actually is kind of the end of the dungeon, or at least the floor of this dungeon. There are no more traps as Vulcan carefully progresses. You do see in the next room over, once you get into once again these less intentional. By the way, I've already moved Vulcan and 10 off, so if you guys want to start free moving, you can. Once you get further ahead, the architecture reverts back to that kind of naturally forming stone wall, cave walls formed through water erosion and whatnot.
Okay. Sort of forgotten where. Wait. Direction the.
If you southeast.
Oh, through the.
The only things you guys hadn't fucked with really in here was there was that model of the solar system. You guys didn't mess with that, which, to be fair, might be a really good idea. You don't know what it does. It might do something really bad.
Also, I can't see my character in the.
You moved your character out of the world.
Oh no! I thought maybe. Hey. Oh, I just lost.
Oh, now there's two of you. Don't do it, Ash.
I couldn't see anything. There was something that I should have been seeing, so I tried putting a gray on the board. Nothing is happening. I even zoomed out.
You got 2 tokens on the board.
I can't see either.
Oh, okay. Hang on. I know it's probably up. You weren't here last time. Can you see now?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Sorry.
Also, Ash is deafened and muted for some reason.
Oh, hold on. Let me check something. Yeah, she's not server muted, so it's on her end.
I only mentioned it because I said, oh god, now there's 2 of them, and my immediate thought was that Ash is going to make a prequel meme reference, but she didn't, and I was like, oh, because she's muted. And didn't hear me.
What was that in the
Oh, that was the guy with the weird eyes and the bug face.
The horrible Japanese stereotype aliens. Otto, the Jedi. Now there are 2 of them.
All
like
right.
what was up with that?
I never thought of that until somebody mentioned it.
Dude. They literally have the most outrageous Asian accents that have ever been put to a soundboard.
How did I ever miss that as a kid?
Because you were dumb.
I just remember that they had cool hats. I was just
They
like,
were aliens. What accent are they supposed to have? American? Mexican?
I just have an alien language. Fucking, that's what Star Trek would do. Anyway. Moving on. We're moving on. So assuming that Ash and because she's still muted, assuming that Ash and Gray are going to keep up, I'll go ahead and slide everyone down. Actually, let me get all your tokens together so I can just copy paste them. seriously, do we know why Ash is just silent now?
No. Now, if those alien guys, start baking up the rice and sushi, I might have said something.
Perfect. Okay. Let me know if all of you guys have vision and all that nonsense. You're going to be on the far left side of the board.
Oh, there.
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. So, descending through the roughly hewn kind of tunnels, you emerge to once again things resume. Essentially, the architecture picks back up, as though there's like a number of floors, and like someone just kind of dug a hole where there wasn't maybe like a collapse hole or something like that, and they were just like, screw it, just keep digging until you reach the next floor. But even so, you've emerged into yet another section. In front of you is an octagonal chamber that has 3 8-foot-tall statues. All of them have let me get my official description here. 3 statues stand in this small octagonal chamber, each an 8-foot-tall Thessalonian soldier. Swords are plunged into the stonework at their feet. There's no telling what army they once served, as the sections where their rune marks should be have been scratched or filed away. Vulcan's gonna carefully walk in here. He's gonna roll perception to see if he notices anything up, because this is anytime there are statues, fucking perception, right?
Oh yeah, I was about to say, last time we did, statues did not go well.
That being said, he begins looking around before saying, "Someone has left us a note," and pointing to it, there is literally just a note that has been attached to one of the statue's chests. When I say swords are plunged into the ground, what I mean to say is they're not like King Arthur, sword in the stone plunged into the ground. They're like they swung at a dude and missed, and just their swords are in the ground. You know what I mean?
So they're not part of the artwork where they're just simply in
definitely
the ground.
not.
Yeah, they're.
That was actually my first assumption.
I mean, yeah. So you get the sense that either the trap has been sprung, or that's just maybe it wasn't a trap. Maybe someone just fucked with some statues. Hard to say.
Or maybe
Well,
the note is this trap, and the swords are a distraction.
Vulcan will say, "It is written in Thessalonian. It says, 'This trap was so obvious, I didn't even bother rearming it. I have more dignified ways of killing you. Signed, Luca.'"
Let's say, if it was in Thessalonian, how did it last this long? But alright. I have my question answered.
That being said, as soon as he says the words "killing you," he's going to have to make a wisdom saving throw.
Uh-oh.
Clever girl.
Error. Intrusion detected. Phantasmalkiller.exe has been forced shut down. Clever girl. And then with that, he'll just ignite the note in his hand with like a tiny, I assume he's got like a miniature flamethrower just for such an occasion as burning notes. Of course he fucking does.
Or his tip of his finger pops off and then a little lighter pops out.
But it's like that show kind of paper, the one that's supposed to burn up in a flash for magic show.
Right.
I'm kind of hesitant to enter the room because the last time the 2 big boys entered the room, it shut the door on them. I say as I look behind.
I mean, it's just a hallway.
The other 4
there's
people
only so much. There's only so much map, but the hallway goes up for quite a while. You do notice that the doors to the north and to the northwest and northeast are both kind of ajar. Vulcan in particular being the one furthest up. these doors don't go anywhere. And kind of like pulls one open a little bit further, and just they're blank walls essentially.
You know, he said the trap was disarmed, but I think I'm gonna try to take one of the axes off the thing if I can. Are they stuck fast?
Go ahead and roll a strength check for me, or an athletics check, I should say.
My new stuff. I think I might get some. Oof.
10. I mean, you're big enough that these oversized statues weapons would probably be like an okay fit for you. That being said, like it's hard prying a fucking sword or axe out of the hand of a statue that does not move.
Are they made of stone?
Seems like it.
Where is my punchy button?
Okay. I mean they're unmoving statues.
I'm just destroying the weapon.
Oh, the weapon? Okay. Weapon's quite a bit harder to destroy than statues would have been. You kind of bring a fist down on like the flat part of a blade to make sure you don't just fucking cut your hand open. Yeah, it hurts. You don't break your hand, but ow! Don't punch metal things. Ow!
It's metal. I thought it was stone.
The statues are made of stone. The weapons are made out of metal.
Okay, then I wouldn't have done that.
Oh, my bad.
Action Pieball, do something. You're up.
Well, all right. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna walk forward. Oh, is there not like a doorway in this room? Okay. Hot diggity. You know, actually, can I make an investigation check to see if there's like a door?
Sure.
Something I should have done. Make sure the sliding door comes crashing down on.
Woohoo! Good rolls. Always good rolls.
Neither of these doors are doors. Interesting.
It seems as if they carved an illusion of a door here. Rather odd, but it seems to be almost as if they wanted to trick us into thinking that there was a pathway through here.
Okay,
so we
given
waste our time.
given that you're already doing that, Vulcan is gonna also attempt an investigation for the same thing.
See, with that crazy rationalization, I think Cybass would be like, "What are you talking about?"
Scanning the room for a second. He'll kind of turn behind one of them. Cybus, you're trying to like investigate, and at the same time you're just kind of like doing that burnt hand like finger wave where you're like, ow, 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 ow. I'm investigating. Is this broken? I just got this.
I realize I still feel pain.
But as you guys are doing that, Vulcan with his natural 15 is going to see what you're going for. Scan the room. Oh, scuff marks. And kind of just shove one of the statues over.
Or it would seem that there is a door. And it is true.
Yeah, there is a section of kind of loose-fitting brick that, when pushed, just kind of swings open on an unseen hinge. Very, very well made, though. Kind of grinds a bit, which is why it leaves scuff marks. But, yeah, a small staircase that leads just to a plain door. I would advise caution. Luca has proven adept at placing traps in unexpected places.
Can I make an investigation check to see if there's a trap?
Go for it.
Yo, Detective Gray is out on the scene with an actually not bad roll.
With a 16, so checking around, and seeing that there's a bit of misdirection, essentially. The last 2 times that you've seen traps from Luca have been like an obvious problem that, when solved, have devastating consequences. So at this point, you're looking for the trap, and then when you see the trap, which is indeed kind of just like a pretty generic kind of if seal is broken, then explosive goes off. You don't disarm it, and it's on the door, by the way. So I assume you move into the hallway. So looking at the door, yeah, there's a pretty obvious kind of tripwire type thing, and usually when these things happen, as soon as the seal is broken, then it triggers or electrical charge that ignites some kind of bomb or poison gas dispenser or blade swinging thing. So you know that that's there. Go ahead and roll me a general intelligence check. This isn't an investigation. This is just kind of seeing if you can figure out like the chess move ahead of time. Easier DC than you might think. 20, nice.
Hey! Show
Okay.
me the money.
So you're thinking, you're racking your brain trying to think like what's the actual trap? And it's as you realize like what would be the worst possible thing? What if I just stood here for too long thinking about, and you immediately jump out of the way as it seems that a pressure plate that had been a time delay pressure plate for anyone who had tried to take too much time to disarm the trap kind of shifts under your weight, and a massive kind of hastily, it's weird, there's no slot for it, just kind of like a sword apparates as though like a ghost blade essentially through the wall, and as you leap back, it kind of just disappears as quickly as it came, like it was never there at all. But you do evade the trap.
Nice. Good shit. Also, Ash messaged me the reason why she's deafened and muted. Her mother called her, and she's dealing with that.
Well, she put that in the chat thing.
Oh. Yeah, she just messaged me saying, "Can you tell the others to continue without me for a little bit?" Question mark. Still need to help my mom with something.
But I'll assume as part of the same role that you disarm the mundane trap that had been put in the door.
Yes, I would. I would disarm as many traps as I could. Well, the path seems relatively clear. Please do keep your eyes open. I doubtless may have missed one more, but
Doors
the
and
brunt of it
corners.
is gone.
That's where they get you.
So walking into the next area, this is an enormous hall lined with 10 giant pillars carved into the forms of giants and dragons and whatnot. Typical kind of self-congratulatory, ego-inflating, look how amazing we are at Thessalonian architecture. There are torches that are set in sconces that are still lit, so either they've been lit recently or they are ever-burning torches, hard to say which at the moment. Most
Hey,
important.
Blank, should this door be open?
We'll go with yes, because I forgot about it.
Okay, figured I'd
Maybe some
ask.
doors can be open. Not everyone politely closes doors in a dungeon. Sure, why not?
I mean, that's fair.
I really ought to leave more doors open, to be perfectly honest, because it is weird how every door is closed in a dungeon. But why else would they put them there? Anyway,
May I make one more investigation check, because I'm Detective Gray right now. I gotta look for all the traps.
I would let. Oh shit, that's the wrong thing. Please hold 1 second. I put it on the wrong layer. Because there is a dude in that throne up there. So, enormous hall, pillars, yada yada stuff. On the far side, there seems to be some kind of hastily erected makeshift camp that has long since been abandoned. And above it, a what would have been a mighty throne once. It looks pretty dilapidated. This whole place is dilapidated and pretty wrecked to shit. But still, sitting on it is Luca, the man you saw earlier, looking pretty disinterested. He's sitting in the throne in that same kind of bored kind of way, not in like the "this is my kingdom" kind of way, but like, yeah, this is a neat chair. But glancing over at all of you, welcome to yet another of the seemingly endless array of books and half-baked experiments created by the Thessalonian Empire. I trust you've seen enough the wonder has worn off. I know it has for me. And yet here we are. What do you expect to find at the end of this anyway? Thessalon had everything there was to have. It was a mastery of magic and math to rival the gods themselves and destroyed them utterly. And here you are thinking you were more capable than they were, recapturing the glory they once had, to wield as your own. I'm sure that'll end well.
It most likely will, seeing as you've never spoken to me. Not in earnest, quite. I was mainly just there, silently. Rather intimidated, but that's not of importance.
Excuse me, who the hell are you?
Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Gray, and if you don't move out of the way, I will be the one who hands you over to the authorities, and if that should not be possible, I will be the one to make you similar to that fellow. I'm gonna point at my the
Deep breath.
I can't words.
Yeah.
A bone boy.
What bone boy is that?
Fucking Simon, right?
You're so on top of things, Gray.
Thank you. I really fuck.
Phrasing?
Ash is possessing Gray at the moment.
But hearing you say that, you go, "Oh, you are just adorable. Look at you. You think you're people."
God, I used that in an earlier campaign this week. It's great. Goblins think they're people. Out of character. Just, it's a funny trope. I dig it.
I fuck with it, but I
racism,
I
guys.
can assure you that not only am I a person, I am more civilized than you will probably ever be.
Yeah, go.
I think that's a
He's in a
low-key way
considerable. What?
I guess I was about to say. I think that's a low-key way of saying there are worse things in death.
Wait, what?
Trying to translate your words to something.
Oh no, I was saying about him, like not about you.
Now I'm even more confused. Are we having the same conversation?
I imagine this is happening in game in front of him, just at the party. Hang on. What?
No, I was merely implying that
Also,
I was going.
Bone Guy?
Yeah, so do you not like that term? Is that racist? Is that like the G word?
It's like the gargoyle, the 10 to 12 foot gargoyle standing in front of you that stares at you.
I may have offended you, and I can assure you that that was not within my intent, but these things do happen.
We are faced with an insurmountable threat, and you are bickering about racism.
It is an actual worry of mine.
Semantics, actually. What part of me is showing bone right now?
Oh, let him talk. I'm enjoying this quite a bit more than you might expect. It might be keeping you alive.
Listen, we will get back to you very shortly. Now listen, was that actually uncouth of me to call you a bone boy? I get that you are very altered from when we first met, but...
First, I don't think we're... I think we're more of a thing.
So then, would that be...
I mean, I'll pop you in the mouth if you call us undead again.
Hey, Blank, is the fire in the middle of the room lit?
Would that be deathophobic?
Oh, you said there are torches lit, right?
There are torches lit, but the big abandoned camp in the middle of the area is not a campfire.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go grab one of those torches, start walking it over to the campfire with rations in hand, and I'll make some food for this.
Assume that there is a torch. That there's a torch for each pillar, essentially. So
Cool.
so you're just gonna start walking up to Lucas' throne with a torch with some food.
Yeah. Like, I'm
Damn,
gonna light
sir.
it, like, warm it up here and listen to this. This is hysterical.
Seeing that you're not doing this threateningly, Lucas still just sitting in his chair watching you approach and watching this argument.
Listen,
Oh, yeah, no,
I'm not
him and
sure
me
if there's
both.
a word for. I know if one doesn't
Discriminatory,
like those.
prejudice,
Well,
bigot.
listen, you're one of the good ones, so I would not
One
like
of the
to
good
offend
ones.
you. Yes, I wouldn't like to offend you, especially since you have shown your value in this in our little team of sorts.
You know, go figure that this is like the one time where fucking Sandman isn't here, because I have no idea what Vulcan would be doing right now.
Probably walking towards him with, like, fixing, like, to attack.
Yeah, he's probably in like full on fucking like bristly, angry cat mode, essentially, but for a giant robot. Jack has no shits to give. Vulcan has taken all the shits that Jack would have given and is giving them in his place.
I'm also missing Horace. He would be
You're I keep doing that.
I only bring it up when it matters.
Your nonchalance in this issue is utterly disturbing.
Listen, we started on a topic, and I would like to at least get some sort of closure before we continue on. Speaking of which, do you mind at all, or can we finish this quickly?
Oh, I have all the time in the world.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. I only came
fun.
to have a conversation. I'm not even actually here.
Oh.
Vulcan will immediately like open a torrent of fire on the throne, which shreds the rocks behind it. I'm just going to assume he has some kind of ranged thing. I know Vulcan typically, punches things, but for the sake of narrative, I know he has at least one shoulder-mounted cannon. The throne is reduced to rubble, which Luca is still sitting completely unfazed, Luke Skywalker style, on top of, basically.
God, he had the reference to that movie.
And yet I made it. But still sitting on the rubble of the throne. Oh, and you've ruined yet another artifact. You know, that could have probably cost quite a bit in a museum, but who cares? And watches as Jack is just at this point like making food. No, I only came here to have a conversation because honestly, I'd really